Right, while President Cyril Ramaphosa is scheduled to launch the KwaZulu-Natal leg of the Thuma Mina campaign tomorrow. Now, the president is expected to meet with community members from Chatsworth in a short while. Let's go live now to our reporter Simphiwe Makhanya to get more on the story. Simphiwe, a very good afternoon to you. I can see a buzz of activity behind you. Has the president indeed arrived in Chatsworth? And talk to us about some of the discussions that he will be having with the community leaders in this area. We know, of course, that there was a furore over that girl that was killed in a botched hijacking.
Good afternoon to you, Alicia, and good afternoon to the viewers at home. Well, certainly a handful of community members have started arriving here in anticipation for the arrival of ANC President and the country's President, Mr. Cyril Ramaphosa, as he rolls out the Thuma Mina campaign here in KwaZulu-Natal. We are told, however, though, that his first public engagement in Empangeni has been delayed slightly, so we can expect proceedings here as well to delay, because we're expecting the proceedings to begin at about 6 p.m. But coming back to this area of Chatsworth, Alicia, as you have just said before, that it's a community that is predominantly Indian. It's facing a plethora of challenges, one of which is crime, as well as unemployment among youth, and also the issue of substance abuse. But on the issue of crime, Alicia, I can tell you that community members here will be expecting the president to actually talk about the plans that the ruling party has got in place in terms of trying to stop this scourge of crime in this area. And of course, recently we saw the leader of the Democratic Alliance as well, Mr. Thuma Mina, making his presence here in Chatsworth as well. So those are the issues that community members will be anticipating the president to actually talk about as he rolls out this Thuma Mina campaign.
So, Simphiwe, let's expand on that. I mean, just for the benefit of our viewers who might have missed what this whole Thuma Mina campaign is all about, just take us through some of the projects that are actually involved under this project that the ANC or the governing party will be undertaking, particularly under this campaign.
Well, Alicia, one of the key issues that the Thuma Mina campaign aims to achieve is to ensure the involvement of communities in different parts of the country in trying to address the social ills and some of the challenges that face different communities in the country. When this campaign was launched, Alicia, the president was basically saying that it cannot be a government, it cannot be individuals from government who can actually address these problems, but he was making a call to community members as well to play their role in addressing some of these major problems, one of which is the problem of crime, which is rife in this particular area that we are currently in, and also the issue of unemployment, youth unemployment in particular. And the center that the president is expected to address the crowd in this evening, Alicia, is the Chatsworth Youth Center. So we are expecting quite a number of young people as well to take part in these discussions. And of course, we know that the program for tomorrow is going to be a very hectic one for the president. Tomorrow he is expected to take part in that walk, that 5-kilometer walk, and thereafter he will be addressing the official launch now of the Thuma Mina campaign here in KwaZulu-Natal. And perhaps let me just also add that it will be his first time addressing a rally of the ANC in the province since his election as the leader of the African National Congress.
You know, we're going to talk about some ANC issues in the province, Simphiwe, in a short while, but let's get through with this Thuma Mina campaign. I mean, President Cyril Ramaphosa is coming to volatile KwaZulu-Natal, where we know the tensions are pretty high around the land issue debate, particularly after the king called that imbizo and, of course, resolved into calling all AmaZulu to protect the land that is under the Ingonyama Trust. So what is the sentiment on the ground? Are people willing to engage with the president, and also speak to us about what we can expect when he eventually goes and meets with the king?
Certainly, Alicia, that issue that you have just raised, the issue of land, is a sensitive one in this particular province. As you would know about the issue of Ingonyama Trust, following that high-level panel resolution or recommendations by the former president, Mr. Kgalema Motlanthe, stating basically that the trust needs to be amended or the trust needs to be dissolved altogether. And you had the king yesterday, Alicia, saying that actually that is a direct attack on the Zulu kingdom. And we are obviously anticipating the president to actually address these issues, these concerns that the king spoke about, because really the ANC cannot afford to go to an election next year with these issues not being resolved. Because we had the king yesterday also making emphasis on the issue of Zulus, saying that they must be careful who they vote for and how they vote, because they must not be exploited.
Absolutely. I mean, let's talk about this, Simphiwe. We know that, of course, President Ramaphosa will be accompanied by provincial as well as regional leaders. Do you have any names of who will be joining him as part of this huge campaign? And also, where can people get more information as to the pit stops that the president will be taking?
Well, Alicia, let me just take you through the problems that are currently facing the ANC in KwaZulu-Natal. You know that there is a provincial task team that is still in place following, obviously, numerous attempts that have failed to actually hold the provincial elective conference. So we are expecting those leaders in particular to be part of this campaign as it is expected to be launched officially tomorrow. And it's a highly divided province, Alicia, as you have just said. Many branches, or 3 or 4, if I'm getting them correctly, have still not held their regional conferences because of issues that have not been resolved, and you have some of those branch members taking the party to court. Those are some of the issues that the president is expected to highlight in his address as he addressed the Thuma Mina rally tomorrow.
All right, Simphiwe, let's leave it there. Thank you so much. We'll definitely be keeping in touch with you as the president crisscrosses the whole KZN province, of course, bringing credence to the Thuma Mina campaign. Let's now take a quick